Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, Major League Journeymen, for our 7th episode on the docket, joined by none other than Dax McCarty and Alan Gordon, the truest professionals in every sense of the word. I am coming off another great experience, downtown St. Louis. I got my... See that?
Oh,
Jeez.
wow.
One of the few teams that I never played for.
What a homer.
Dude, yeah, I'm a homer now. I am officially a homer. Dude, they were awesome again. And
Stop that.
I'm telling you, listen,
Talk to me about the goals. Talk to me about the goals that they scored.
Let me rephrase that, because Vancouver gave them all 3 of their goals.
Ding, 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 ding.
But I will say again that this team plays really tough. And in St. Louis, it is really hard for any group to come in. And I've probably moved off that position, because I had originally thought, well, yeah, of course, they're high tempo, they press high, they do all the things that every buzzword of every club right now, but they do it better than anybody else in the league. And the soccer side of things is still a work in progress and is still far from creative. They're not really building chances, they're not really doing those things. But they're scoring goals, and all these metrics that everyone is, all the expected goals and all this other expected created chances and all the other nonsense, I think is going out the window a little bit. And I think we're seeing this a little more often, like Miami Heat winning Game 7, 0.000% chance of them winning that series. And what do? They go up 3-0 and then come back and win Game 7. St. Louis, maybe that's a little bit of a stretch in terms of a comparison. They don't have Jimmy Butler, but I am a believer.
You're signing them.
I'm signing them. I don't think that they're the top in the West. I think that that might be a different club. But I think they're in the echelon, because if you win your games at home, that's saying a lot, right, Dax? Didn't we talk about that last week?
It is. Well, that's the one thing I'll say, is that they have shown in their first year that they are legitimately, it looks to me from the outside like one of the most exciting atmospheres and most intimidating atmospheres in the entire league, which is really impressive, man, for an expansion team. But what I'll say about that game is, I saw the highlights, and I can't throw too many stones, because I had a chance to score a goal last year against Vancouver with a penalty, and I'm pretty sure that this keeper Hasal, I'm pretty sure he saved it. I'm 90% sure he was the one in goal, and he saved my terrible penalty. So obviously he's got that over me. But this poor kid, I mean, come on, you can't be getting beat on that set piece. You can't be getting beat certainly on the third goal is bad. And the second goal, I can't really remember how it happened, but I'll remember that I'm telling myself, eventually teams are going to stop giving St. Louis goals, literally passing them the ball, running out of the goal for them to score off of set piece. I can't figure out how long this is going to last. But the one thing I'll remember from that game is the Vanni Sartini comments after the game, just absolutely
so good,
destroying the referee. And I'm certain that he will have a fine coming his way. Gordo, did you see his comments after the game?
Did you see his comments? He said that the game should be canceled. They should just do away with the game because the referee was so bad.
He gave it the classic. It's impossible to beat 12 men.
Oh, yes.
That's a classic line.
I mean, it's really good. But two things, Dax. You've obviously played in the best environment in the league in Seattle or Portland, either one. The 12th man is real. And two,
You're giving them that?
Dude, you get a lot from it. And if we keep saying these things, right? Like, oh, well, they're lucky, or they gave, which I was saying at the beginning of the year, they got a pass back. They got, Klaus gets goals handed to him. Yep. One, you still have to finish them. And two, you still have to win. And at what point do you get to this place where it's like, okay, well, they keep doing it, which means there's magic, which means there's belief, which means that everybody else knows it. And there's a little bit more in the back of your head every time you come into St. Louis. Dude, I think it's there.
Dax, you haven't played there yet?
No, I haven't played there yet, and unfortunately, we won't play there this year. They're coming to our place. So,
and you think this is the real deal, Gargs? The atmosphere,
dude. The lower bowl stands the whole game, every game, which is
right.
It's a minor thing, but it's a deal. Like when you're in it, I sat like 12 rows up this game, which I hadn't sat that low to the pitch, and dude, the environment is something different. And when they get going and when it's exciting, like they score early, dude, if you give up a goal early, they can pile it on. And I have yet to hear it be quiet there.
It's really impressive. It's a really impressive atmosphere. I have to say, it looks like a lot of fun to play in, but I'm a little skeptical that they can keep up the pace that they're on right now. I do think that there's going to be a course correction in terms of, teams stop just shipping goals against them. But I do think they're a legit playoff team. They've already proven that. I think the way that they play with a high press system, we've seen it, like you said, Gargs, like they are scoring goals without a top striker right now. And Klaus is legit. I think he's very good, but he's been injured, right? I think he's been injured for the last couple of weeks. I don't know when he's going to be back, but once they get him back, I think they have a chance to beat anyone in the league, because the high pressing system that I played at Red Bull, it raises your floor as a team. You're always going to if you can do it at a high level, which St. Louis can, you're going to consistently create chances off of a high pressing system. And you can't high press with a striker like Gordo in your team, but if you have a striker like Klaus or these other guys that are willing to work and just find quality chances off of turning a team over high up the field, you're always going to give yourself a chance to win. And that's the beauty of this game. That's the beauty of this league, is that it probably doesn't look great. It's probably exciting because they're scoring goals, but it's almost like a car crash. Every time they step on the field, bang, duels, aerial duels, challenges, and it's hard to play against. I hate playing against it, especially in my old age.
Every single inch is challenged. And they believe in it. And you're right. Like if you can do it and you can do it well, I think you can find results. They're finding results. They're doing it well. They haven't really run up against any real significant adversity. I mean, maybe losing your star 9 is some adversity. They're still finding goals. They're still getting results. So maybe it's something different. Maybe the month of July might be that adversity. You never know. But the other real team in the West, LAFC, big game, Concacaf Champions League final. I want to toss this to you, Gordo. I remember going back to Salt Lake. You're in the league when Salt Lake went to the Champions League final. The whole entire MLS was pulling for Salt Lake to pull it out. Seattle goes. Everyone's pulling for Seattle. Maybe not everyone. I mean, I can say for me, I was like half in, half out. I wanted to see them beat Mexico, but I really did not want it to be Seattle. Is the feeling still the same? Like, do you want to see LAFC win? Do you care? Where are you at in this debate?
Yeah, I still root for the MLS clubs to beat Mexico. I want superiority. I want MLS to have the recognition that we're a real league and that we're improving and that we are establishing ourselves and we're climbing the ladder. And so I think that these matches, I know we've talked about this a few times, and you're not really buying it. You don't really love the Mexico versus MLS thing. I still do. I still think I take pride in it. And I take pride for our league, and so, yeah, for me, I'm definitely rooting for LAFC. It was the only time I've ever rooted for Seattle, by the way. Is in that Champions League run. Like I hate Seattle. I will never like them, but I was, and I'll do it again today. And LAFC is rival of Galaxy. Galaxy's in the shitter, but I'll root for them. And I like the way they play, and they represent us well. So yeah, I'm in.
Dax, are you on board?
Yeah, LAFC is going to win. I just
hold on.
I agree with Gordo.
Are they the favorite?
Yes, of course they're the favorite.
I agree with Gordo that they're going to win. Okay.
I agree with Gordo that if I'm not involved in it, if I'm not playing in it, which obviously, I'm not. We weren't involved in Concacaf Champions League this year. There's a part of you that's like, oh man, like I don't want another MLS team to win it. I want that to be us or whatever. But once you see a team get as far as LAFC's gotten and they're playing in the final against a Mexican club, then that shifts. Like my mentality is totally rooting for the MLS team. I think that Seattle gave a great account of themselves at the Club World Cup, but it was a shame that they didn't win and that they didn't get to play Real Madrid and put MLS on the map in a super competitive game, because an MLS team in a massive competition like that has never played a team that big and that prestigious for glory. I mean, what a game that would have been. And so, yeah, I'm rooting for LAFC. They are the favorite for me. I think Leon is a good team, but quite honestly, I was surprised that Leon got past Tigres. I think Tigres would have provided LAFC with a bigger challenge. And so the fact that the first leg is down in Mexico, the fact that LAFC is going to have pretty much, I think, their full roster healthy and available for selection, except for Murillo, their star center back, who I think is suspended due to yellow cards, which is ridiculous. I don't know why he's suspended, but he is. I think it's going to be a great game. I think LAFC is going to go down there, and I think they're going to get a good result. I think they're going to get a draw, and I think they're going to win the final, just like Seattle did on their home field. And it's just going to be another feather in the cap of MLS. I think MLS every year has not only caught up to the Mexican teams, but I think overall, I think MLS has surpassed Mexico in terms of overall quality, in terms of the competitiveness of the teams. And I know we'll see it with Leagues Cup a little bit later on this year, which is a little bit of, and look, I understand that all the MLS teams are going to be playing at home. So we're going in there with a little bit more of an advantage, but you can't look at the way that the Mexico versus MLS teams have gone the last couple of years and think that the MLS isn't certainly on par with the top teams, and even I think surpassing them a little bit.
So here are two things I want to add to that. One, I do think I disagree with you. I don't think MLS is at Liga MX level yet. I don't think that they're that far away, but I still don't think that that's a fair assessment just because we won Champions League and we have a favorite going into the final.
Okay.
But
why?
I will say,
why can't that be telling that we are now surpassing them?
Because we're talking about one-offs. We're talking about one win, and we're talking about one team that is very, 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 very good in LAFC. I think that the level of MLS has raised significantly, and we are not the same. In saying all that, I also this whole dynamic between Mexico and US, I think that for me it's just lost a little bit of the luster in the fact that we did slay the dragon. We beat them, right? We're not a good country at being number 2. And once we've, I think, achieved the goal, I think it's also tough for us to not go and continue to chase after something different. Here's where I think it's different though. The Leagues Cup this summer, we've kind of flipped the script on Mexico, because every time that we went into this challenge of competing against them in Champions League, we did it at the beginning of the season, in the middle of preseason, where we all took however many weeks or months off, right? And then we'd have to go in and play a Mexican team, and they would smash us because they'd be fit, they'd be in shape, they're in form, they're in season, and we were just getting abused because we'd be running around in Santa Barbara for 4 weeks doing preseason against Cal State Fullerton and all the other nonsensical things that we did because that's the way it was set up. So now that we have an opportunity to play them on our soil, number 1, but number 2, where you guys are actually in form,
mid-season,
good to great teams. I think we have some great teams in the league right now. I think that maybe that will further your argument, Dax, but I'm hesitant to say that today.
I don't know if any of us watch enough Liga MX to really know what the overall quality is. So I might have my foot in my mouth here a little bit. But I certainly have watched the Liga MX versus MLS games of the last couple of years. And I think the top team on the continent has been Tigres for the last couple of years. And I mean, Tigres struggled to get by Orlando in Concacaf Champions League. Right? I mean, Orlando was a couple seconds away from getting a tying goal and forcing their series into extra time. I mean, I just think overall, the money that MLS teams are starting to spend, the players that MLS teams are starting to develop in their academies, I just really see the quality of MLS and the overall quality of the league, just for me, slightly being a little bit above Liga MX right now. And maybe I'm wrong. We'll see how things play out this summer. I'm excited to play in Leagues Cup. I think it'll be unique. I think it'll be a super interesting experiment in if I'm talking out of my ass right now or not.
Are you guys
but yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm
definitely putting bulletin board material out there.
Because of all the Liga MX players that listen to Major League Journeymen.
Dude, Hercules Gomez is going to pin this and send it to all his buddies down there. All the pundits on Picante. What about Tim Tillman? Did you see his comments? He clearly does not have a very high opinion of Mexican teams, which I think is also way off base. His comments were, Gordo, for your reference, I think Mexican teams really don't play that tactically. It's more or less emotional, very much 1v1s. It's all about fighting, all about the emotions. Where does he go? Where do you take that if you're a Mexican team heading into a final against LAFC? I know where I'd take it. I know where I put it.
Up his ass.
Could you have said anything more disrespectful than that right there?
Yeah, I don't think it's smart. You never want to give them, but I mean, I feel like there's a language barrier a little bit. I don't know. I feel like there is. I kind of know what he's trying to say, I think. And I don't think he was trying to be disrespectful. It came out disrespectful, but they do. They play with their heart. All right.
They absolutely do.
And
but
emotions.
To say they have no tactics.
Yeah, that was a little bit ridiculous. I think he was trying to say it's more about their heart and desire than over the tactics. But he said they don't know what they're doing out there. They just run around and get emotional. I don't know what he's saying, but
yeah,
I think it came out wrong.
I think it's I love it.
So you're giving him a pass on this, Dax. Are you giving him a pass?
I love it. I love it. Why not?
I'm giving
Listen,
him a pass.
if you're the alpha, and look, I firmly believe that in that locker room at LAFC, that they know that they are the favorite and they are expecting to win this series and this title. So if you are the alpha, if you think and believe in your heart that you're the best team, you don't care what you say. And I think to Gordo's point, like, look, maybe there was a little bit of a lost in translation moment to say that they don't play with any tactics, I think is a little bit over the top. But you can certainly say that Mexican teams, in terms of the aggression that they play with, I think the pride that they take in still being the top league in North America, I think that there's a lot of pride there at stake. I think the whole Mexican national team, U.S. national team debate, I don't think there's any debate that the U.S. national team has surpassed the Mexican national team these last couple of years in terms of results and quality. In terms of the amount of players that we have playing in top leagues around the world, I don't think there's an argument there. And so I think Liga MX, I mean, whenever they play MLS teams, yes, there is a certain amount of aggression. There is a certain amount of pride that they do play with. But to say that they don't play with tactics, I just think is a little bit ridiculous. But I love it. I don't think he meant it like that, but I love the fact that he's coming out, he's calling it how he sees it. And yeah, is it bulletin board material for Leon? Of course it is, but I don't think LAFC cares. So I think if you're the alpha, you walk like the alpha, you talk like the alpha. That's exactly how you're going to hold yourself. Go win the game now. That's what their job is. Go win the series.
That's the only thing I was going to add. Still, going into Mexico and getting a result, number one, is really difficult to do. And I don't care who is a better league. That's a tough proposition, number one. And number two, if there is a weakness in LAFC. For me, it's on the defensive side of the ball. And I don't think that they're going down there and attacking the way that they will at the bank at home. So to be on the road telling Leon that they have no tactics before the opener, I think is an interesting tactic in and of itself. And I can't imagine that Stevie Cherundolo, who is probably far and away the coach of the year right now, is none too thrilled about that. But if you guys can convince me otherwise, maybe.
We'll see.
I think it's a lot. Somebody that does know a little bit more about talking shit, though, is Mr. Gordon, who's getting on a flight tomorrow, right, Gordo? On Wednesday, You're flying out to this TST $77 million winner take all showdown in North Carolina. There's so many ways that we can go with this. But,
go with it.
The only one that I want to start with is you're not playing, correct? Is that accurate?
That's very correct. It's very correct.
And you're not playing, and your wife is still letting you go. It's absolutely incredible.
Reluctantly. Reluctantly. I can say this because my wife will never listen to this podcast. So, so McGee basically calls me. He's like, dude, we just got to build this thing up so we can have a guys trip every year. Okay. It's not about the soccer. I don't care. I keep calling him. I'm like, dude, I can't play, right? He's like, Gordo, yes, I know you can't play. You got to be there, buddy. You're on the coaching staff. It's all good.
Is that what your technical role is now? You're on the coaching staff?
Yeah.
Who's the head coach?
Well, it's co-coach.
Okay. So who are the co-coaches?
I would say I'm. McGee's more the manager. He's the GM. He's
the Sir Alex.
Yeah. I'm not taking credit for this roster if we don't do well.
Okay.
If we do, then I will.
Okay.
Do you know? Does
so
McGee
are you
know?
The lead scout or you're the tactician?
McGee,
what are you?
McGee knows that Gordo has already won a championship with his U11 girls.
That's true.
So he needs to give him the keys.
No, I'm the coach. We're going to be less tactical and more emotional. I'll tell you that more.
Like a Liga MX team.
Yeah, we're going to be a Liga MX. Dude, but this 7v7, if you guys are the TST, man, if you guys haven't looked into this, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's generated some really some old legends, dude.
Coach, do you know the teams that you are playing this upcoming weekend?
We have the group of death. We got Dempsey's team. We're playing them first, and they got the likes of, I think they got Jermaine Jones. They got who else they got? I don't know. I think, you know what, dude? I'm calling out Wando. I'm calling out Wando right now on the podcast.
Oh.
Wando was supposed to come and play for us and said he couldn't make it. And then Dempsey just called him and he gave in like the choir boy that he is, and now he's playing for them. So all the Goonie talk, all the San Jose years because Lenny's on our team.
Yeah.
Lenny's on our team. Nick Ramondo is on our team, and he was calling and Wando blanks Ramondo.
Crazy.
Stops texting, and then he goes with Dempsey,
I'd like to see a message sent early in the game from someone. How does it work?
Dude.
Do you get yellow cards, red cards? Do we know? Coach, do you know the rules?
Do you know the rules, Coach?
Yeah, I know the rules.
Can you share them with us? Who's on?
No slide tackling unless the ball is, you're going to get the ball and it's going out. You can slide tackle, but no actual slide tackle. No throw-ins, and every game ends with a goal. So let's just say we're up 4-1. Okay, then there goes to the time ends and it goes into overtime. Now, if the team that's up scores a goal, it's over. But you can allow the other team to get back in the game. So if they go on a 4-goal run,
so you can score 3 goals in a row, tie it up, and continue on and win
in overtime. Yeah,
in overtime.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
So you have to kill. Essentially, you have to kill the game with a goal.
You have to keep attacking.
Every single game ends with a goal.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So they wanted it to be like that. And so
what about yellow cards and red cards? Are there any different color cards here or what? Like let's say someone sends a message to Wando from McGee's team and from Coach Gordon's like, "Hey, I'm going to need you guys to give that guy a nice stud to the ankle." Is it like you go to the penalty box, you're out?
There is a penalty box actually.
It's actually just 2 double coolers stuffed full of beer.
No, dude, people are taking this serious. We got AJ De La Garza and Lee Wynn.
Dude, I've been seeing training videos on Instagram.
They have been in camp. They have been in camp for a month.
Hey.
And I'm talking to AJ, and I'm like, "Where are you guys staying?" He won't give me their address because he thinks I'm going to go like poison their food. I'm like, "Are you stupid?" You guys are taking this way too serious.
I saw my boy Breck Shea is playing in this tournament. I think he's playing with like some of his Stoke City boys. I think Jeff Cameron's playing in it. They have a team.
Yeah.
I was on social media, perusing social media the other day, and I saw Breck's wife post a video of him. He's working out with his shirt off, and he's doing the ab roller, but he doesn't have an actual ab roller. He's using a skateboard, and he's just rolling the skateboard out and back. And I'm like, oh, that is so perfect for Breck. But I'm like, Gordo, I'm seeing a bunch of guys that I follow that have just recently retired, that are posting videos of like training camps and like training sessions and like lifting. And I'm like, dude, people are taking this pretty seriously. So I'm excited to watch. I got to say that I feel like something like this is ripe for tons of engagement. I feel like it's fun. I feel like there's a lot of big names coming out of the woodwork to be involved in this. I'm kind of jealous I'm not playing, I gotta say.
That's what I said, dude. Listen, if you pull a Wando on me when you retire and you don't come on my team, well, because there's going to be you got the whole Breck thing. You got people out there that are going to be coming
I'm going to be a highly sought after free agent. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you who wasn't. Me. I got no invites. I'm looking at these rosters, though. Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco's got a Cincinnati team with Corbin Bone, Jimmy McLaughlin, Kenny Walker. I mean, guys that have played.
A lot of former pros, man.
# United. There's a team. There's a lot of former pros on this. Okay, so
Fabregas is playing. He's coming over.
Cesc Fabregas, right? Yeah. Steve Nash, isn't he on his team?
Steve Nash is on a team.
Gordo, can I ask you one question and then we can move on from this? What are realistic expectations for Coach Gordo and McGee's team? I mean, are we surely you have to expect to get out of the group of death. Is it just 2 teams get out of a group, or how many teams get out of a group?
2 teams.
So it's World Cup style.
World Cup style, 2 teams go into the round of 16.
I mean, are we talking catastrophic failure if you guys don't get out of the group?
Yeah, it could go really dark if we lose the first 2.
Scale that one back.
if we lose the first 2, listen. Here's what you got to know about Mike McGee. Okay, this is the only thing you need to know. He pretends like he doesn't care about things, but he is super quietly competitive, and he's very sneaky. Okay.
Oh, like sneaky a sneaky fox.
Okay. He's very sneaky. So
Sly
this guy
and sneaky.
We have tactics. Okay. So I'll go against my original comment, but we do have some tactics. We got a bunch of old pros that know how to win these 7v7 tournaments. Okay. We know how to. He's like, we got to make this game ugly. I'm not going to give Dempsey or anybody else, what we're going to do, but we know how to win these games, dude. I'm
going to be tuning in, bro. I'm going to be tuning in.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting big things.
Aren't all these games on CBS or NBC too?
Yeah, they are. I think it's on
streaming,
ESPN too.
They're streaming, right?
Yeah, they're streaming. I think it's on ESPN 2 or ESPN Plus, one of those.
The ESPN, the Ocho.
We're going to tune in.
Dude, I'm definitely going to watch. I've seen more content talking about TST and this 7v7 tournament than I have about the US Open Cup. So how is this group of players, this group of organizers done so much in so little of time that U.S. Soccer can't do anything with the U.S. Open Cup to make that relevant? Is it just the $1 million purse?
Yes.
Is that literally it?
Yes. It's the $1 million, dude. It put a big purse in it. Put a big purse. Make it something that the players want. It's always been the problem, dude. It's always been the problem. If you're going to put your efforts into something, you want to make sure it's worth it. And guys will. I remember before this whole Champions League thing started. Remember the Superliga? It was called Superliga.
Yep.
And it was $1 million purse. Mm-hmm. Except the Mexican teams, we played Saprissa in the final, and we lost in PKs. But the problem was the MLS wasn't going to give us the $1 million. The Saprissa, no, it wasn't Saprissa. That's Costa Rica. It was I'll think of it. Anyway, we were going to get. I think they were going to split up
like 10% or something, wasn't it?
10%.
Yeah.
Remember when New England and Houston shook hands and they
they walked off the podium or something like that?
Because it was a joke. They were playing for $1 million and we were playing for lunch money.
Yeah.
Right. And so it didn't matter as much to us and we didn't care. Dude, put out a big purse and start hyping it. They don't put anything out. Hype it. Get some cool video. Like, I don't know what you need to do, but put something on it.
Dax, if they put $1 million on the U.S. Open Cup, would you guys take it more seriously?
I think it's tough. I think it's a very Gordo-esque elementary way to solve a problem. Just throw more money at it. But I have to say that Gordo's not wrong, right? Because with this new Leagues Cup, I can tell you one thing: the winner of Leagues Cup is going to have a nice little cash prize because they want MLS wants teams to take this competition seriously. They want to try to make it big. I think they want to try to capture some of that massive Mexican audience that only tunes into Liga MX, and they want to try to capture that so that more Liga MX fans will watch MLS. And so that's smart. I think that's good business, and I think they should do the same with the Open Cup. Another subtle change that I would like to see made, and maybe not in the next couple of years, maybe wait until I'm done playing, is that I would like to see every USL team that has to play an MLS team get to host the game, just like they do over with the FA Cup. Because I think that these games are so important for these lower league clubs. Mm-hmm. And I think that you see how serious that they take it and the atmosphere that they create. Every single game, Open Cup game that's played at a USL venue or USL stadium is electric. It's awesome. It's it's just an awesome spectacle to watch. And yes, the fields might not be great. They might be crap. But I think it just means a ton. And if an MLS team goes down there and plays like crap, or maybe they lose, fine, you're out. Sorry, see you next year. But if they tie or if they win, great. If they draw, let's have a second leg. Let's do a second leg at the MLS venue. I think that would put more emphasis on the games mattering more to the MLS teams. And I think that would be really exciting, man, to see every game played at the USL team's venue.
Does every USL club get in?
Every USL club gets in. They have to go through a little bit more qualifying rounds, I believe, to get to the MLS teams. The MLS teams come in like the third round, maybe.
Right.
But I just think that would be cool, man. If you have to play a USL team and you have to go to their venue, and like, it's like the FA Cup over in England.
Yeah. How is it done right now? A coin flip? How did we used to do this?
It's a random draw.
It's a random draw, right?
Yeah, it's a random draw.
You also have to, and I could be.
I think you have to bid for it as well.
But I think you have to bid to host.
You have to bid to host, right?
Yeah.
So if USL teams don't bid to host, then I guess, fair enough. The MLS team is going to want to host. But I think it'd be a cool spectacle if every MLS team had to go and play at a USL club.
Well, USL teams are putting a ton of money into their clubs too. I mean, that league's growing, and they're the ones that I think that have probably the most to gain maybe at this point. The only tweak that I would make at this point is I'd bring Mexico into the fold. And I'd bring Canada into the fold, and I'd make it a full March Madness style tournament. If you're going to shut down the league, right, which is basically what's happening in the summertime to do this.
You think there's 500 days in the calendar to get all these games in, or what, Garks?
Nope. You just play Saturday, Wednesday, or you could probably have a similar build-up like you're talking about, where they, these teams advance and then they start to see MLS clubs and Mexican clubs. But why not? Then you get the Davids and the Goliaths, and it's actually real spectacle where you put a big number on it. You have to put a big number on it because at this point, like, what's $1 million? $1 million is a joke. It's still a joke for any of these corporate sponsors that can put something on it and put their name on something. Put a real number on it and facilitate it and build it.
I'll tell you why not. Because it's a terrible idea. That is the worst. That's the worst idea you've ever come up with. Every single episode you're talking about, I don't care about the Mexican teams anymore. I don't care about, and now you want to bring them to the U.S. Open. And you want to bring Canada into the U.S. Open. That's our Open.
That's what I want to do.
No, that's un-American. You can't do that. That's our tournament. They're doing that other shit. They're doing the Champions League.
I have to say, I agree with Gordo here.
Dude,
that's the wildest idea you've had in a long time.
That is the worst idea I've ever heard you say.
You know what they say about genius, right? Everyone rejects it at first. Wait till you see this happen.
I mean, listen, you took a
So what do you
shot
call
at
it? Because you can't call it the U.S. Open Cup anymore.
Call it the North American Cup.
North America Cup. We're changing tradition. You're trying to make it better.
We don't have the U.S. Open Cup is dead as it stands. It's lifeless.
Hey, Gordo solved the problem. Throw more money in the pot.
Throw more money at it. Still call it the same thing.
Do you remember that comment I made before Dax said I was stupid and then agreed with me? I love when he does that. It's an elementary way of saying yes, but I agree with him.
It is. It's just typical caveman Gordo.